Border Patrol agents say they have arrested an MS-13 gang member. He illegally crossed the border near Calexico in California. The Honduran gang member claims to have traveled through Mexico with the migrant caravan. Meanwhile, in Tijuana, the mayor of that Mexican border town says he has only enough resources to assist the thousands of migrants from Central America camped in and near his city for just a few more days before the city's treasurer goes broke. The city treasurer, by the way, claiming they've been spending about $30,000 a day because of the caravan arrivals. They're looking to the federal government of Mexico for help. It sounds a lot like America, doesn't it? Joining me now to take up the caravan crisis at the border, the president's threats to shut down the government if Congress fails to pay for his border wall, Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, member of the House Judiciary Committee, the House Freedom Caucus. And Congressman, always good to talk with you. Let's start with this mess on the border. Do you think the president has successfully illustrated to the Mexican government and incoming President Manuel Lopez Obrador that this is Mexico's problem before it's ours?
I think he's done a great job trying to communicate that. Talking about shutting down the border is important. I think this bully pulpit that the president has exercised really is setting the tone. And at some point, I mean, we thought there was a deal last weekend, right, that Mexico was actually going to keep these folks. And it looks to me like they're trying to keep them, but they're not closing down their southern border yet. And they need to do that.
Yeah, they need to do that. They need also to secure their northern border. This is part of their, you know, I was one of those people who was hopeful that Lopez Obrador would be a partner for this president and act like a mature, like Mexico deserved a mature and responsible leader, not another leftist, corrupt, politician. It looks like he has chosen the latter course, and that's a shame.
Well, I'm hopeful that things will get straightened out, because they have to get straightened out. Because if you look at Tijuana and what the mayor has said,
Congressman, they've had to get things straightened out since 1986, 32 years ago. And all they've done is exacerbate a horrible situation, an inhumane situation. The Mexican government hasn't given a rip about the people that it has urged economically and sociologically north to the United States. The same is true of the Central America. We have, and by the way, you talked about the president setting the right tone here. I mean, the great thing about him is he is a man of action, as he promised he would be. He's doing something everybody around him was clucking about his decision to put troops. I mean, in my opinion, he should have fired every person who objected to securing the border, because those people have got an agenda that is not in the national interest, is not in the interest of the American people. I would clean them up so fast their heads would spin.
Well, I agree with you, Lou. I mean, this is a long-standing problem, obviously, with Mexico. And look, you had a president when Vicente Fox. They were providing. Yeah, they were providing brochures and pamphlets and maps on how to get up here, and
Vicente Fox is the biggest blowhard who did nothing but urge the poorest and the least educated of his society north of the border, and then had the temerity, to the gall, to lecture American citizens on their responsibility to Mexican nationals living in our country illegally. And he was put up with by the Bush administration, encouraged, and everything but given a big hug for being such a complete and utter blank.
Yes.
I can't even believe it. And Lopez Obrador wants to go down that same path. His people deserve better. He's a populist. He should be focused on the welfare of those people and their treatment by their government, because it has been a sordid and sorry story. Let me turn to this wall. We're hearing that it's a Democrats' fault. Here, with 5 weeks to go, the House of Representatives, led by that august conservative, that stalwart Republican, Paul Ryan, who decimated your party at the polls. We are also led in the Senate by Mitch McConnell, And the President of the United States wants a $25 billion wall built. He promised the American people. Suddenly he's talking about it's the Democrats' fault, and it's $5 billion he wants, not $25 billion. You people could screw up a vacant lot. You are absolutely, I mean, it's disgusting what is happening now in Washington.
Right, yeah, we can't make a grilled cheese sandwich, right? I mean, the reality is there are bills out there right now. There are methods like you could use the reconciliation
may I
method.
interrupt
you can do this.
Congressman?
Yeah.
I'm resorting to no adjectives and no name calling.
Yes, sir.
Speaker Ryan isn't worth a tinker's damn. He's not a leader. He has no character. He has no principle, or otherwise he would be supporting this president and acting in the national interest, not the interest of K Street, Wall Street, and the whole bunch. Koch brothers, the Business Roundtable. I mean, it's disgusting. Are you guys going to be able to get $25 billion in the president's hands without any strings? I love the idea of Congress with its strings. Paul Ryan and these fools he serves, the American people should, I mean, it's just disgusting. Yeah. Are you going to get it done?
You want my
Yes, I'll shut up and you can give us the answer.
You want my honest opinion? My honest opinion is we're not going to get it done. We're not going to get the $25 billion. We're not going to get my bill through. Look, you could use Kevin McCarthy's bill. There are so many ways to get this done. You could do it through reconciliation.
Why $5 billion? Why not $25 billion?
It should be $25 billion.
Because $5 billion means it's a 10-year project. I mean, idiots could figure that out. And by the way, you've got so many of them in both parties on Capitol Hill. It's astonishing.
Yeah, well, look, we should be doing $25 billion. We should have done it 6 months ago. We should have done it a year ago. We should have done it 18 months ago. We've got 5 weeks left.
Why didn't you get Paul Ryan out before he could destroy the party? Why did you let him sit there? I'm just curious.
Well, look at where the votes are, Lou. It's always about votes. And where are the votes? And I'm one vote, you know. And the bottom line is, this is the direction that it went. And so I'm trying to make the best of a bad situation.
No,
and
I understand.
Continually
and you're a good
urge
man, and you are a principled congressman, and that makes you definitely in the minority, irrespective of the party that's in charge.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy. Drive me crazy, Lou.
Well, it's driving us all crazy. That you can imagine what the president's thinking in the damn fools who are sitting there pushing him to take a $5 billion installment on a 10-year project. Yeah. This is pretty sad. What is the quality of the people around this president? They're appalling, as you know. Congressman Andy Biggs, thanks for putting up with all you put up with there on Capitol Hill and occasionally on this broadcast from time to time. I look forward to your next visit. Thanks.
It's always good to be with you. Thanks.
Appreciate it.